Oh, look, the great thing is that we're still alive. That's the great thing. So next week we get to play the Tigers for still an opportunity, rather than just play for playing, I suppose. So that's the real pleasing thing. So and the Tigers are in the same boat. I think both going to be on similar points, and the winner's going to have a chance to move forward, and the loser's going to be out. So you'd expect it to be a good contest.
You would have been happy with the way they went on with it in the second half?
Yeah, look, the early first half we had some moments like we have had in a number of games this year where we, did the hardest part and didn't take the opportunity, which then allowed them to get back in the contest, and the try just before half time, and some nice stuff there. And then obviously there was a real battle then for 15 or 20 minutes, and then once we got that next one, we sort of put them away a bit, So we've sort of had no worries at home. Like when we've really got on top of winning well, it's when it's been really, really close in the sort of back periods of games where we've probably struggled a little. So hopefully today we get a lot of confidence out of what happened. But we had some, some good players played well, didn't they? Obviously Piercy had some really nice touches, and Caelan again, and off the back of a lot of hard work from their teammates, they got an opportunity to play some footy.
Brady, obviously you mentioned Caelan and Piercy there. There's been a fair bit said about both of them. Notably Caelan during the week. Would have been happy the way they responded to it. It probably says a bit about them.
Yeah, look, Caelan's, Piercy's been getting a hard time for a lot of his life, I suppose, about lots of things. So, but for Caelan, I don't think he's ever been given a hard time before. So, for get a little bit of a hard time, but he showed his qualities, didn't he? It was not too much of a bother for him, and he approached the game in a manner that probably suits his style of play at this stage of his career best, and he certainly got it right at training, and he got it right on the field.
Did you notice any difference in him? Because obviously he hasn't really been criticised at all in his career. Like, did it make him more determined during the week, or did it hurt him at all? Do you notice? Or?
No, look, he's he's a good key KP. He prepares really well. He always prepares well, and by his own call, he'd tell you that he's probably had a couple of quieter weeks with a number of areas of his game, but he certainly cares a lot, regardless of how he is after a game. And he showed today that his involvements today were was quite a lot of them, and of high standard, which is good, and he obviously had some quality in it as well, so that was great. But I'm not too sure whether that sort of negative publicity affected KP or not. I'm not even sure if he reads after it, to be honest with you. I'm lucky to get in to watch a game of footy.
Brownie, you played into with the win, in the first half, and it was tight. Were you surprised the score blew out and you're running into the wind?
Look, I thought we probably, by all accounts, everyone agreed we'd done enough work, the hard work, to score another couple of tries in the first half. Unfortunately, we didn't finish off, and that obviously, where the Cows are, they put an awful lot into the game last week, the Cows, to keep their year alive, which they've done a number of times this year, where they've competed so hard and not quite got the result. And I thought the back half of the game was always going to come down to probably how we controlled the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because obviously they've got a couple of very high quality players not playing. They invested a heap last week, and at the end of the day, their season's done as far as finals footy goes, and that can be quite deflating, what happened to them last week with the effort they put in, and then they met us today, who had a lot to play for. So, look, the back end of the game for us was sort of, we certainly got the first 20 minutes right, and then, we had a period there where our defence, wasn't as dominant as it needed to be, and they gained some field position on us. And then second half, they certainly had the ascendancy early, but our goal line D held up under, plenty of pressure, and off the back of that, we got some reward with our key players creating some nice opportunity.
Brownie, did you send a message, or did you make any indication that, given how important for and against can be this next few weeks, to keep your foot on their throat and really go on with it in that last 20 minutes?
Oh, look, regardless of where you are as a team, you always want to finish games off and finish teams off. That's obviously, the key to any side when they're playing. But, we certainly weren't talking about the for and against from a point of view that we needed to change the way we were playing. And I thought the points had come if we played well enough and defended well enough. So, obviously we were quite mindful that, our for and against has obviously been helped today by the score, and we're in a reasonable position compared to most of the other sides near us as well. And so it certainly helps, but we certainly weren't talking about it from a point of view of just going to throw the ball anywhere.
I guess you look at Newcastle this year, it's fair to say you've been a team of confidence that goes on good runs and not so good runs. finishing off a game like that, but that's probably pretty important going into this last month and the kind of confidence you need the boys to take in.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt getting a result like today, you would hope, gives confidence to some blokes who have been a little bit quieter, and as a group, you get quieter. But, as a club, we've just lost a lot of close games. That's the reality of it for us, and if we'd won half the close games, we'd be sitting here saying what a great year we've had and how well we're going. But you lose close ones, it becomes you've got to pay the piper somewhere, and you see yourself on the ladder and you end up sitting there for a reason. But as a whole, we've certainly been in plenty of contests to win, and at different stages we haven't been good enough to go on with it. Today we went right on with it, and we've had 5 performances at home now where we have gone right on with it. But unfortunately, we've had half a dozen where we've lost by an average of 3-point-something points. So that tells the story there for you.
Connor Watson came off with an injury. How serious is that?
He's got a minor medial injury. How serious? It's certainly not serious. Whether he'll be fit for next week or not, I couldn't answer that question at the moment. But it was minor, whatever it is.
He was playing pretty good footy too, wasn't he?
Mate, look, Connor competes so hard all the time, and if our offence is in a reasonable position and the middles are doing a good job, Connor's speed, causes any side trouble, and the way he competes hard for a bloke of his size. I think I've said before, Connor makes anyone 17 in, whether it's Melbourne Storm or the Roosters or whoever's at the top of the comp. He's in anyone 17. Where and what position he plays, it'd be probably different for every team, but there's not a teammate he's played with at this club or the Roosters that doesn't like playing with him.
Did you notice a shift at all in Mitchell Pearce's demeanour in the lead-up to this game that was indicative of the performance he put on?
No, not at all. Pearcey's obviously probably Pearcey's biggest downside is that he probably takes too much on himself, and we've got it doesn't matter sort of who we play at dummy half. They're more running players. They're not what you call a Josh Hodgson or that type of player, or Cameron Smith, who control the ruck. They're more running. Whoever plays at 5'8" is a youngish player. It doesn't matter who it is. They lack experience. KP's still a free spirit, and that's where he's at his age. He is not an organising type of fullback. He doesn't organise his own attack yet. Well, not a lot of it. That's not where he's at in his career. So when Pearcey's a bit quieter, it can have an impact on the team, and then Pearcey takes too much pressure on himself and sometimes tries too hard to do too much. But today, as a whole, I thought, he went into the game, he allowed Kalen to play his plays. He played his plays, and Mason played some plays, and obviously Connor did what he did, so it worked out well. And, when obviously Pearcey's got his game and he's playing with some confidence and he's not over-trying or not putting too much pressure on himself, we generally flow pretty well. But, the biggest, if you can be critical of Pearcey, sometimes he puts too much pressure on himself, which he doesn't, and he doesn't do that. He certainly has a great impact for this football club and football team.
Do you think that's the first time since the State of Origin series that your players who played for New South Wales and Queensland have been at their best?
Look, there's certainly, last week I thought the way that boys competed as a group was really, really good, with the amount of possession Para had and the field position. I thought we competed really, really well, and I was confident if we could keep competing like that, some of them would find their groove again, and we've had some little moments, the worst part of the Origin break, we had those couple of games where we were playing very good sides, and we're riding contests in the last 20 minutes really blew out on us, which as a club we've really worked hard to be a side that's really competed hard, and we've had those couple there which were disappointing, and then we've had those couple of games where we had some tight losses, which was disappointing. But as a group we just got to get a little better in some tight situations, but today was a good day for us, and we should get some confidence out of it.
You moved to Santa for Sione. You obviously were taking a bit of pleasure out of that.
Yeah, look,
Played really well.
Sione's been playing well anywhere, Baz. He's been a really consistent player for us. It's probably, sorry to say, it's the first time in his career where it's week to week he's been good. And whether he's played on the edge or the middle or in the centres, he's just been really consistent for us. And him and Barney and Lockie and Daniel, now they're starting to become reliable players. And that's hard. It's not as easy as what people think. So they're starting to become very reliable. And I thought Josh King was great today. He's got huge amounts of unfair criticism over the journey, but if you actually break his football down this year, he sort of belongs out on the field now, and he's also out there with some blokes who actually understand what first grade's about, and you can see Kingy was really good today in his 50th game, which was great. It was only 2 years ago he played that mob and we got beat by 50 after he worked all week and then flew to North Queensland on the Friday night to play on the Saturday, you know. So he's come a long way, and I think, you know, people could, if they actually understood his journey and what he was going through, they'd probably appreciate actually what he's got to achieve at this stage.
Kind of the only injury.
From what I understand, yeah.